Brock Purdy was under the microscope. How's he going to do without all of these weapons? And even the one guy who's there, Brandon Ayuk, isn't really there yet. And 3 touchdowns, uh, almost 300 yards. 3 touchdowns,
290.
quarterback rating of like 130, 140. I should know the numbers. I'm sorry, but he was really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
There was a deep throw to Brandon Ayuk that he chose not to attempt, which is strange. And we'll ask him about that this week. But no one's perfect. Did his price tag go up or down in this game?
Yeah, Brock Purdy, 22 of 30, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns. Brock Purdy played really.
And a fumble. He did lose a fumble for the second week in a row. He needs to not do that. But other than
that fumble, honestly, I put that on Colton McKivitz. He got absolutely cooked, and that's on Colton. So I don't blame Brock for that. Do I think Brock's price tag has gone up? To answer your question, yes. Do I think? Here's Brock, man. Fantastic leader, fantastic attitude, great mindset. Love all that about him. Extremely mobile, extremely consistent. Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, believe it or not, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, 2 of the most consistent quarterbacks in the NFL statistically. If you look at them, Brock Purdy's only had maybe 1 disastrous game throughout his career where you're like, oh, he lost the game, which was against the Ravens. Outside of that, Brock always gives you a chance, right? Brock is a really, really good quarterback. His price tag is going up because he is one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's proving that. Will he ever be elite? I'm not sure. He's up there. He's top 12, top 10 for me. Is he in that top echelon of elite quarterbacks? To me, that's make that throw to Brandon Ayuk. And I
would have to say so. I'd have to agree.
Because
let's not forget that the Rams have the worst defense in football. They're giving up 6.8 yards per play. And the week before, Kyler Murray, diced him up worse than Purdy did, to be fair.
They are the worst defense in the NFL. So what you saw yesterday was 27 points, minus CMC, minus Debo, but against the worst defense in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And he did have that opportunity, Brandon Ayuk, to seal the game. Mm-hmm. Now, again, it's like the Super Bowl. I don't think Brock Purdy lost the Super Bowl, but he had an opportunity to win it, and he didn't. Just like
and I don't understand why I didn't throw that pass to Ayuk. It was open. He saw it. Turning that down is a Jimmy decision. It's strange. And what did he do on that play? He scrambled around for a long time and made nothing happen?
Got 3 yards. Now, I had Croc and Vish actually on this morning, and they pointed out a play. We showed another play where you had the tight end, Solbert. Prior to that, same thing. Brock Purdy dropped back. Solbert was wide open for a first down, and that also would have sealed the game. I didn't see this live. They pointed it out to me. So Brock Purdy is great. Really good. I'll put it that way. Brock Purdy is really, really good. Great at a lot of things. Elite when it comes to leadership mentality. But the one thing that's stopping him from being one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the NFL is in those moments sealing the deal. When you have a Brandon Ayuk deep on a post route that will win you the game, you got to make that throw and you got to hit it. And you can't say, oh, he didn't trust Brandon Ayuk because of the drops. There were a lot of drops in this game, by the way. A lot from Ronnie Bell. I think people are throwing out the number 6. We'll see what the actual statistics numbers are. Some of those drops from Brandon Ayuk were actually punched out, not more like PBUs than actual drops. So I'm curious to see the numbers. But Brock played really good without his stars. Can't take that away from him. But he did have an opportunity to seal the deal, and he didn't do it.
Yeah. I do think, though, that his stock went up and his price tag went up because a lot of people think he couldn't do what he did without all those players. Now, I almost feel like Kyle Shanahan forcing Deebo Samuel into the offense, may have hurt Brock. Like, let's go back to the Super Bowl. Brock had opportunities. He didn't get it done. True. What if instead of 11 targets for Deebo in that game, there were 11 targets for Juwan? And that's something that the play caller has control over. There are concepts in your play sheet, but there are also, you can organize it by who's the primary target on this play. And you can call the ones where Juwan's the primary target, or you can make him the primary target. And they did that yesterday. It was so efficient. It's been super efficient for a long time. The Deebo Samuel volume wide receiver thing has never been an efficient proposition. Anyway, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but Brock Purdy, I was impressed. I didn't think he was going to play that well. I didn't think he was going to play as well as he did.
I was impressed with Brock Purdy and his scrambling ability.
Yeah.
It just seems to me that Brock, I'll put it this way, man. Like, to your point, it feels like there's progressions laid out, and Kyle Shanahan tells Brock what those progressions are, and regardless of what happens post snap, he sticks with those progressions. And a lot of the times, the focus is on a certain player. It's Deebo Samuel Day for the 49ers, according to Kyle Shanahan.
It's been Deebo Samuel Day a lot of days on the Niners.
Yeah, or CMC Day, which usually works out because he's
back and forth.
A great player.
Yesterday was Jawan Jennings Day.
I think it was you and I, or at least I don't know. We talked about it on the 4-man front.
We did.
And our offense to not have that. I want Brock, like, I don't care what Kyle Shanahan tells you prior to the play. Once the ball is snapped, the priority should be on what's open. What is the defense doing, right? Like, you can have an idea of what's going to happen before the play, but once the ball is snapped, things could be different. And so regardless of what your progressions are, who's open, make the play. That's next level elite quarterbacking in the NFL. And I don't blame this loss on Brock Purdy at all. Brock Purdy did enough to win this game. Putting up 27 points, and the numbers he did should have been enough to win this game. The defense, special teams are the reason why they lost last night, and also Kyle Shanahan's decision to play Ronnie Bell over Cowan or Chris Conley. But he did have opportunities to be elite in this game, and he didn't quite hit those marks.
All day, every day, Kim says the way Kyle runs this team is prehistoric. Put him in a museum ASAP. JDM 408 says, to be fair, no one expected both Tutu and Jawan to pop off like that. Both guys are wide receiver 3 and stepped up. Niners didn't capitalize on Jawan's game. Rams did with Tutu. I don't know. I feel like I've been saying since the offseason that Jawan needs more targets and would do well with the bigger share of the offense.
Can we be honest? Jawan Jennings should at minimum be wide receiver 2.
I agree.
Deebo is a weapon. He's not a wide receiver. He's really not. He's a wide back. He's a weapon. He's not a wide receiver. He doesn't run routes and get open, and that's why targeting him so heavily in the passing game is very inefficient.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Richie says, time to move on from the wide 9. Staley can't implement his full scheme if Kyle Shanahan is trying to hold on to the old scheme. Okay. I'm with you on that. The Niners did ditch the wide 9 for large stretches in this game. There was a lot of 5-man fronts with Jordan Elliott playing nose tackle. We saw that. Still didn't work. Shane Cooley says, we sure that Kyle knows who his best players are. Seems that Jennings' development has been stifled. He didn't know that Jordan Mason was better than Elijah Mitchell until everyone in the world knew it. He didn't know that Jawan Jennings was just good until everyone in the world knew it. He didn't know that Brock Purdy was just good until he was proving it on the field. Jacob Cowling seems to be the next one, or Renardo Green.
Yeah.
Good question. Dark Halo says this is a culture issue, zero accountability. Yeah, the Vikings and Rams both have a better culture than the Niners. No question. Not necessarily better teams. Sean S says the problem is the Niners have always getting rid of players late instead of 1 year early.
Bill Walsh.
Austin says Campbell and Foles are slow and can't cover. Jesse Jr. says, after that great game by Brock yesterday, has anyone given him thought to Brock not wanting to re-sign with the Niners and the current coaching staff next year? No.
I don't think he's going to get paid more anywhere else.
Keith Murphy says 2 out of 3 games, Kyle outcoached. Correct. Propa says the team will feel the loss this week, then win a couple of games and get complacent again, rinse and repeat. Tired of lazy, overpaid players. Much more fun to watch guys who haven't been paid yet and play hard. That's really cynical, and I pretty much agree with it. That's what the 2014 Niners did. They started off, they won 1 game, and they're like, we did it. Lost 2. Won 3. We're great. And then lost a bunch, and then finished 8-8. And Jim got fired. Harbaugh got fired. And frankly, you could kind of see that he was losing that team.
The younger players are more hungry because they haven't been paid yet, for one. And not only that, you want to play the younger players because they're on cheaper contracts, right? And you're not even taking advantage of the cheap contracts. You're letting them sit for a year or 2 years, and by then you only have 1 or 2 years left on the cheap contract. And then instead you're paying these old veterans
who are going to break down. It's football.
Yeah.
Luis Madera says if you drop passes, muff, and fumble on a consistent basis, normally you get cut. But somehow Ronnie Bell is still allowed to hurt the team. Why? We will talk about that next soon. Lil Shanny says I quit this team is pathetic.
Don't quit.
Don't quit. Well, you can if you want. Little Shanny. Look, Kilo T Dub says if everyone thought Kyle blowing another 10-point lead was bad, just wait until this Sunday when he blows another 25-point lead against the Patriots. Joseph Ernberg says worried the need to impress Kyle. Hold on. Worried the need to impress Kyle holding BP back.
Well, wait till he gets paid. We'll see what happens then.
Nick Falcon says disgraceful loss. We've been here before. Thank you, Nick.